All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go from Hockenheim. Race 1, we'll see Yannick Gunther and Rudolf Gunther on the front row. Max Gunther and Ellis Johnson have the second row. Team Gunther starting 1, 2, 3. David Gallant, Adam Barker on the third row. Andrew Lau, Waleed Feza have the fourth row. Wessel Stevens and Simon Zierk round out the top 10. Mike Dalling starting at 11th next to Mike Marshall in 12th. Roman Berg, Jason Leonard, and Harry Volsmeer round out the field. Team Gunther 1, 2, 3 may not bode well for the rest of the field. A lot of these drivers behind will have to take advantage of straight line speed to make something happen, because the Gunthers in the Porsches will have the advantage through the turns. Everybody getting stacked up, ready to go. The track temperature has gone up even further, now up to 102. Some of the drivers were discussing during practice the fact that they may have to change tires in race 2 if this track continues to heat up. Porsche pace car leading them through the final sector. Leading them down into Sachs for the final time. The pace car will drop in. As we mentioned, definitely going to be an interesting start with the three Porsches of Team Gunther up front. Porsche pace car heads to pit road. And out of the final turn, Yannick is in control. He fires. The green flag flies there down and away at Hockenheim ring. Max Gunther loses a little bit of ground off the start. He slips back to 5th as he battles with Adam Barker to hold on to 4th. Adam able to drive a little bit deeper. It gets close, but everybody makes it through. Oh! Ellis Johnson is around. Waleed Feza involved, David Gallant, Mike Dalling involved. A bit of chaos back behind. Gallant has gone to pit road out of the hairpin, and Rudolf still leads the field. It is worth noting, Rudolf Gunther has a bit of an advantage here this morning. He has driven a Porsche here in real life. Rudolf leads them back into the infield. Yannick still in second. Barker now to third. Wessel Stevens is already up into the top 5. And out of the final turn, Rudolf Gunther will lead lap 1 And let's take a look at that lap 1 incident. All right, Mike Dolling there to the inside. The spin starts just ahead. Dolling off into the grass to avoid it. Let's take a look at this incident from the chopper. Waleed Feza got the worst of this, it appeared. Just on the power out of the turn. He goes around. Ellis Johnson, who was up running in third, he loses ground out of the turn, goes around as well. Oh, and Gallant had nowhere to go, runs nose first into him. Well, a bumpy start for some of the drivers, but it has allowed Rudolph Gunther to pull a 2.5 second lead over Barker. It was Barker a moment ago, but now Barker has slipped back into fourth as he battles with Yannick and Max. Team Gunther trying to hold on to the top 3 spots. Wessel Stevens back in 5th, trying to close that gap. He's got Andrew Lau on his bumper in 6th. Simon Zierk now up into 7th. Mike Marshall in the Aston on the move. He is now up into 8th. Ellis Johnson currently in 9th. Roman Berg in 10th. Harry Volsmir got sideways on that early incident, has recovered, but he is quite a ways behind. However, we've seen him come back from further in the past. Yannick Gunther in 2nd, Max in 3rd, Adam in 4th. Wessel getting closer and closer. Remember, this race marks the halfway point in the season, with Wessel leading the points, but Rudolph Gunther in 2nd, not far behind. A couple of wins today could really help. Mike Marshall and Roman Berg have had problems behind. There's Mike as they turn back into the infield. Oh, Mike just overshoots the turn. And it looked like Roman may have gotten a little love tap. As they get to the infield, he comes back across. Looks like a bit of neck code between him and Mike Dolling. Rudolph's lead still holding at 2.5 seconds, but Yannick has just said the fastest lap so far. With track temperatures rising, that could be the fastest lap we see all morning, 1:38.27. Wessel Stevens is just about caught up to Adam Barker, bringing Andrew Lau with him. Simon Zierk about 2.7 seconds back. Ellis Johnson losing a lot of ground off the start. Has slipped back into 8th, but Ellis is on the move. Mike Dolling now up into 9th. Roman Berg in 10th. Mike Marshall slipping back into 11th after his incident, and Max Gunther has had a problem. All right, there is Max coming out of Sachs. Oh, just a bit too much power mid-turn. He goes around and loses several positions. Max kind of stuck in a bad situation. He just couldn't get going due to the steady stream of cars. Rudolf Gunther still has the lead, but Yannick is starting to close in. Max Gunther has slipped all the way back to 13th. Jason Leonard currently in 12th. Waleed Feza, after his early incident, has slipped back to 11th. Mike Marshall having slipped back into 10th. Andrew Lau had a problem a moment ago. He has slipped back into 9th. There's Andrew coming through turn 1. Hit the curbing on the inside a little too hard. Gets loose, smacks the inside wall. Ouch. A lot of guys trying to make up some ground here. Early incidents have caused a lot of drivers to have setbacks here today. Hey, good morning, Dawn. Yeah, everything seems okay today. And Jason Leonard has had a problem. Jason in the lone Acura this morning looks like he has slowed through the infield and just gets up on that little bit of a rise and it sends him around. Ouch. How are you doing this morning, Don? Rudolf Gunther did just set the fastest lap and the only driver under the 138 mark. As he starts to pull away again from Yannick Gunther. Adam Barker holds on to third for now, but Wessel is on his bumper. Top 3 in points, currently holding the top 4 positions on track. Points leader Wessel Stevens sitting in 4th. Second in points, Rudolf Gunther out front with a big lead. And third in points, Adam Barker, the 9-time champ, currently running in 3rd. Rudolph just out for a Sunday drive. We mentioned it early on that he has driven a Porsche around here in the real world, and I have to say it's been a bit of an advantage this morning. Also, I'm extremely jealous. The battle is on for 3rd. Can Adam hold on to it? Jason Leonard has just completed a stop, but is already at another problem. There's Jason after his pit stop. No, he just pulls over. Not sure what is going on with Jason this morning. Mike Dolling has now moved his way up into 7th, trying to reel in Ellis Johnson as Harry Volsmeer's charge may have just ended. Harry got caught up in that lap 1 incident, slipped way back. Let's see what just happened. There's Harry, and you can see the back end already stepping out on entry. When he gets on power, it just sends him to the inside wall. And Roman Berg also had an incident. There's Roman coming into the hairpin just a bit wide. Meanwhile, Rudolf Gunther has extended his lead now to 3.4 seconds over Yannick. Adam still holds on to 3rd. Wessel within striking distance, but Wessel does have a slowdown after coming through that first sector. And he has not burned it off yet. There it goes. He finally got it burned off, but he lost some ground. Simon Zierka 5 spots into 5th. At the moment, Simon is the biggest mover of the race, as is Wessel Stevens, who went a bit wide there. Wessel started in 9th, up to 4th. We have seen quite a few off tracks so far this morning. The drivers were talking about it a lot during practice. That could be a big factor in race 2. Remember, in race 2, the top 7 from race 1 will invert. Right now, that'll put Mike Dolling, the Minister of Defense, on the pole. Boy, the rest of the field could be in trouble if that comes to pass. Ellis Johnson had one heck of a qualifying run and one heck of a start. But man, losing all that ground on the first lap has him back in 6th. Will he be able to make something out of race 2? He'll start from 2nd. Yannick Gunther still sitting in 2nd place, but he is about 4.6 seconds behind Opa. Just can't reel his dad in. Max Gunther, however, did slip back to 12th after that incident, battling with Parker. He is closing in on Mike Marshall and Waleed Feza, and Roman Berg just ahead of them. And Wessel, through the final turn, picked up another slowdown. Now it looks like he picked it up in turn one, and burning it off through this sector is a bit tricky. Simon Zierk still holding on to fifth. Ellis in sixth. Dalling in seventh. Has caught up to Ellis. Will he have anything for him? Dalling sets it up. He dives deeper into the hairpin, but he overshoots it. Ellis able to slip back by. That was a great move by Ellis, just letting Mike go a little too deep. Ellis maintains sixth for the moment. Rudolph Gunther's lead now 4.7 seconds over Yannick. Adam in third is actually starting to close on Yannick. He is 1.5 seconds back at the moment. Remember that Mercedes has the power and the straight line advantage over the Porsche. That the Porsche does have the handling advantage. Jason Leonard is back up to speed and out on track. Harry Volsmere still trying to make up some ground here. Rudolph Gunther had an off track a moment ago. He has lost well over 2 seconds of his lead. Yannick trying to close in on his father, about 2 seconds back. Rudolph should get the white flag this time. Just needs to keep a steady pace and keep Yannick in the mirror. And there's Barney, waves the white flag one more time around. Can Rudolph hold on for the win? Rudolph has not been to victory lane yet this season. Oh, he has consistent podium finishes. And currently sits second in points. And he is going to close that gap in a big way. As he comes out of the hairpin, Ellis has had a problem. Ellis hits the, wow, he hit that curb hard in turn one. Looks like he got a slowdown and just pulled it over. Rudolph Gunther leads him into the final sector. And here he comes through the penultimate turn. Rudolph Gunther is back in victory lane for the first time this season. Rudolph Gunther wins at Hockenheim. And of course, they celebrate in style. Yannick comes home in second. Adam Barker finishes third. Wessel in fourth. Simon Zierk in fifth. And Andrew Lau will start race 2 on the pole. He finished 7th. Let's talk to our top 3, starting with Adam. Adam, you had quite a bit of a battle going on there in the early part of this one. Once it spread out, just not a lot of ground to be made up.
Yeah, it was a really interesting start. Really struggling with the tire temperatures through the entire race. The Mercedes struggles a little bit to start with, where the Porsches were really on point with the cold temperatures. But then the heat of the track is just it's really hot right here. So any sort of slipping or like sliding of the wheels is really where we're struggling, and the Mercedes isn't as pointed as a Porsche. Max had a bit of an issue in the last sector, and it broke us apart a little bit. And then I think if I'd have maybe had a couple more laps, I'd have been able to get to Yannick. But yeah, it was quite a lonely race for me there. Just trying to keep it on track, keep the tires underneath me, and seeing if I can get to P2, but unfortunately not quite.
Well, still a great race and a great finish. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Adam comes home in third, but Yannick Gunther coming home in second. Yannick, you're back, and you're back on the podium. Not a big surprise to see you there, though.
Yeah, thank you, Doug. Thank you. Yeah, I got a good start, but then I had a couple snaps and my dad got through. But yeah, congrats to him. He did a good job just driving very quickly.
Yeah, only one mistake throughout the race, and it allowed you to close in late in the race. The final couple of laps, did you think you were going to get to him?
No, he's too quick around here. He's I'm barely. I think my quality lap was like maybe 200s quicker. So it's yeah, he's very quick. He's very consistent around Hockenheim. So no, I when I heard my spotter say there's a problem, I thought it might have been a bigger incident, and then I would have got him. But yeah, he's fast.
It was still a great finish, a great run, and great to see Team Gunther start the race 1, 2, 3. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Well, great job today. Congratulations.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you.
And finally, our winner for the first time this season, Rudolf Gunther. Rudolf, first victory this season, and you get to put both your boys in their place.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. It was great. I did some practice on the official servers, and I figured out that the temperatures on the official servers were around 20 degrees track temperature. So I adjusted the setup for that to warmer temperatures, and it worked.
It definitely worked. You were checking out. You had the fastest lap of the morning and the only lap under the 138 mark.
Oh, cool! Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it really it was really good. Yannick had a little wobble at the beginning, so it was easy for me to pass him. If he wouldn't have had this wobble, I think it would have been much more difficult.
Still, an awesome job and an awesome finish. You came into the morning second in points. Wessel finishing fifth. A points battle really about to tighten up.
Oh, wow, that sounds great. I'm looking forward to the second battle.
Now, I do have to ask, I've heard everybody talk about the tire temps. Will there be tire changes in race 2?
No tire changes, but it's very important to manage the tire temperatures. So a lot of coasting when it gets too hot helps to cool down the brakes, and well, you have to make sure that you have a look at the temperatures. If they are above 100, it will be very tough to drive this track.
Well, man, great job. Congratulations. Great to see you back in victory lane.
Perfect. Thank you, Doc. Thanks a lot.
Rudolf Gunther back in victory lane for the first time this season. Just a few seconds left to go before race 2. Buckle up, folks. It's going to get really hot and really exciting as the top 7 will invert. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Race 2 from Hockenheim. Andrew Lau and Mike Dolling have the front row. Simon Zierk, Wessel Stevens on the second row. Adam Barker and Yannick Gunther have the third row. Rudolf Gunther now to 7th after winning race 1. Waleed Feza in 8th. Max Gunther in 9th. Mike Marshall in 10th. Roman Berg starting in 11th next to Harry Volsmir in 12th. Ellis Johnson, Jason Leonard, and David Gallant rounding out the field. It looks like David Gallant is not gritting for this. As the Porsche pace car leads the field out for their warm-up. And both Mercedes up there, actually looks like all 3 Mercedes in the field, do appear to be taking extra care to get those tires warmed up. Porsche pace car leads them towards Sachs one more time. Everybody stacked up and ready to go. If Mike Dolan gets to the lead right off the bat, he is the Minister of Defense, and it could make this race a bit more exciting. But Lau doesn't look like he's going to let it happen. They're out of the final turn. Everybody stacks back up. Green flag there, underway. Race 2 in Hockenheim. Lau leads them through turn 1, trying to break away. So far, everybody... Oh! Harry Volsmir is off track in turn 1, and we've got a group going 3 wide. Oh! We've got a Gunther back behind, looks like Rudolph. Max Gunther has a problem as well. Once again, lap 1 chaos. Andrew Lau has the lead. Wessel Stevens now up to second, battling with Doling. Wessel clears into second. Doling still in it. Oh no! Adam Barker just overshot the turn. He does get it back on track. What in the world? Wessel is around hard into the wall. This could be a defining race in the championship. Andrew Lau now has a 2.4 second lead over Simon. Mike Doling in third. Yannick in fourth. Waleed in fifth. And Andrew Lau will lead lap one. Wessel Stevens has towed it in. Wow, what a start. Let's take a look at those early incidents. Back this up just a hair. All right, watch Harry there in the black Mustang. Just gets into the Lambo, and wow. All right, that was the first incident. Let's take a look at some of the next group of incidents. All right, looking down from the chopper, you see there were trying to get three wide there. There's the incident with Rudolph, and Rudolph goes through as Max loses it. Max just gets the bump from the Mercedes. Everybody able to split. Then a moment later with Wessel Stevens, looks like he just got too wide into the slick bit, gets bumped from behind and slams into the wall. Wessel did end up towing it into pit road. He is back out on track. Harry Volsmere just set the fastest lap, 138.96 in race 2, as Mike Dolling, Rudolph Gunther, and Ellis Johnson have had a problem. It is chaos in the early going. Let's take a look at this. There is Rudolph. Ellis is right there. Oh, Rudolph gets too deep, gets into Mike Doling. And Mike backs up into Ellis. Looking down from the chopper, Mike has heavy damage, has to check up a little early. Rudolph gets into him, he goes around. And when the car goes around, it just barely clips Ellis, sending Ellis around. Ellis has gone to pit road. And a rough morning. He has just been the victim of other people's mistakes. Andrew Lau still has the lead over Simon. Yannick Gunther now in third. Adam Barker in fourth. Waleed Feza in fifth. Again, this could be a defining moment in the championship because points leader Wessel Stevens is back in 14th. Second in points, Rudolph Gunther is in 6th. And third in points, Adam Barker in 4th. This is definitely going to tighten the points up and may very well give Rudolph the points lead. I'm not sure if Adam is close enough to take the points lead, but potentially, if he were to win this morning, he could. And what a shakeup that would be. Andrew Lau, meanwhile, pulling away. Now is a 2.7 second lead on Simon. It is great to see Simon back up in the top 3, though. Yannick Gunther currently in 3rd, but Barker trying to close the gap. Waleed also staying within striking distance, and Rudolph Gunther is not that far back either. But it just takes one mistake here at Hockenheim to change the race and flip-flop the running order. Wessel now up into 13th, but way behind. He has completed his stop, got the car fixed, but not early, not far enough in that he can go the distance on fuel. And Adam Barker just set the fastest lap of race 2, 138.33. And the track temp is starting to come down a bit. Track temp now down to 97 degrees. It's 102 degrees in race 1. That 5-degree cooler could help save the tires this morning. I mentioned in race 1, a lot of the drivers were concerned about the tires in race 2. But as you heard Rudolph Gunther say, managing tires will be key. Andrew Lau with the lead, Simon in 2nd, Yannick in 3rd. Adam Barker down in 4th, Waleed Fez up to 5th. Rudolph Gunther in 6th, Roman Berg in 7th. And look at this, Harry is up to 8th. Mike Dalling currently in 9th, and Mike Marshall in 10th. Max Gunther running in 11th, Ellis Johnson in 12th, Wessel Stevens in 13th, Jason Leonard in 14th. And Ellis Johnson has had a problem. There's Ellis. Remember, oh, he gets off in the grass. It unsettles the Lambo and sends it around. And a big setback for Ellis. He has had a rough morning. Ellis back in 12th place. Man, what a rough morning he has had, and especially in race 2 where he has been caught up or bumped by everybody else until that last incident. Everything he was caught in was just getting caught up in somebody else's mess. Adam Barker's lap times continuing to come down, and he is caught up to Yannick. Can Yannick hold him off? Remember, the Porsche has the cornering advantage, and those Mercedes have a lot of power and a straight line advantage. Folks, don't forget tonight, 9:30 Eastern, the SMRX Series playoffs continue. And man, it has been wild. Adam Barker and Yannick Gunther still battling for 3rd and 4th. And folks, don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. We have a lot of YouTube shorts coming out every single day. And a lot of them will make you laugh. Not only has Adam Barker caught Yannick, but they are both closing the gap on Simon. And it looks like Jason Leonard has had a problem. Heading down into the hairpin there in the Acura. Oh, looks like he's just letting everybody else get by so he doesn't interfere with their racing. That's good sportsmanship. Yannick and Adam now less than a second behind Simon Zierk. And they are closing in. Andrew Lau has to help these guys behind battle and give him time to pull away even more. Harry Volsmir has had a problem. He has towed it in. There's Harry headed toward the Parabolica. There you see it. It just snaps loose and slams into the inside wall. And then he just can't get it stopped, and it backs in. Double trouble for Harry on that one. Simon Zierk, Yannick Gunther, and Adam Barker now nose to tail. Waleed Feza just over 2 seconds behind, trying to close that gap. And points leader Wessel Stevens set the fastest lap last time by. He is definitely on the attack. Andrew Lau's lead about 2.4 seconds at the moment, as Barker has just moved into third and Ellis has had a problem. Ellis heads into Sachs, just gets too much of that inside, and it sends him around. A rough morning for him. Hockenheim has definitely been a rough track for several drivers. Yannick Gunther still right on Adam's back bumper. Simon gets a little breathing room for the moment. And Ellis appears to have had a problem in the hairpin. He has taken it in. Ellis heading down toward the hairpin in the Lambo. Looks like he just got in too wide and just stopped. Ellis's race may be done. Andrew still has the lead. Simon in second. Adam in third. Yannick in fourth. Waleed Feza back in fifth. And Rudolph in sixth. If anything happens with this top four and that ongoing battle, I think we're going to see things get even tighter. Mike Dolling started on the pole. He has slipped back into seventh. Roman Bergen, eighth, closing in on his bumper. Mike is missing that front clip from that earlier incident. We saw it earlier as they went into the hairpin that is slowing him down. He's also missing his rear bumper and diffuser. Max Gunther not far behind in ninth. Mike Marshall in 10th. Points leader Wessel Stevens back in 11th. Wessel staying in the fight this morning as we've got a battle for second Adam to the inside on Simon. Oh, this could get interesting. Simon pulls just ahead. Yannick is right back there with them. Waleed is getting closer. And Andrew Lau pulls away even more. Simon gonna hold on to second for the moment, but he knows Adam is there now. Yannick still right there with him. Waleed continuing to close in, just 2.5 seconds back, and Rudolf Gunther is with him. Mike Dolling is coming in. Mike will be the first driver on pit road. Will he take tires is the question. The car is fixed. They're fueling it up, but no tires. Lau has pulled out to a 3.4 second lead. Waleed now just 2.4 seconds behind that battle ahead. Wessel Stevens setback early in this race. Man, it's going to cost him a lot of ground in the points. But he's staying in the fight, hoping to pick up a couple of spots. The battle is still on, second, third, and fourth. Waleed was getting closer, but he has slipped back a bit, now 2.5 seconds behind again. Meanwhile, Adam trying to set up on Simon for second. Simon seems to get the better run out in middle of the turn, but man, coming out of those high-speed turns, it definitely appears to be Adam with the advantage. Now don't forget the Porsche of Yannick Gunther lurking right behind. Roman Berg had taken 7th, but Max Gunther just slipped by. So Max Gunther now up into 7th. But quite a ways back from Rudolph. Adam on the attack, coming out of the parabolica down toward the hairpin. Adam sends it deep into the hairpin. He learned his lesson in race 1. They're still even coming out. Side by side, can Adam make it stick into the next turn? Rudolf Gunther just waiting for, Yannick Gunther right there just waiting for an opening. Still side by side. Adam almost to the gravel. Simon tries to outbrake him into Sachs. Can't do it. Barker now to second. And Waleed Feza, Rudolf Gunther, less than 1.7 seconds back. Yannick Gunther has brought it to pit road. Boy, that was a gutsy moment to bring it in. Not expecting a tire change. And it does appear it's going to be fuel only for the Porsche. Andrew Lau, meanwhile, out front, continuing to pull away, is leading almost 5.5 seconds over Adam Barker. Mike Marshall has brought it in. Wessel Stevens also on his way to pit road. Andrew Lau continuing to stay out. Adam Barker, Simon Zierk both stay out as well. Waleed Feza, Rudolf Gunther also staying out. Adam Barker now in second, 5.4 seconds back. He is starting to pull away from third place Simon Zierk. Waleed has slipped back to about 2.5 seconds back again. Rudolf Gunther still on Waleed's bumper. The top 5 have not been in for their final stop yet. Correction, the top 7 have not been in for final stops. Simon Zierk is bringing it in from third. Waleed Feza also in. Andrew Lau still out front by 5.25 seconds. He just needs an efficient pit stop here. He has a ton of speed, likely can hold on to the lead. Waleed Feza is in for his pit stop now. Everybody is within the fuel window. And here we go. The leader has headed in. Adam Barker is bringing it in. Rudolf Gunther will bring it in as well. Max Gunther and Roman Berger, the only two that have not been in. Waleed Feza has a black flag at the moment. Andrew Lau down and away. Adam Barker now down and away. What will the gap be? Roman Berg on his way in. Max Gunther currently in second, is reeling in Lau. But Adam Barker definitely lost some time on pit road. As Barker is now almost 6 seconds behind the leader. Not only that, but Yannick Gunther, Simon Zierk are right there with him. Waleed has come in to serve his black flag. He is on his way back out. Max Gunther is coming in. This will be the final stop of the morning. Adam Barker slips back up into second. He is 5.5 seconds behind the leader. But does he have the speed to run him down with 16 minutes left to go? Yannick Gunther now in third, right there on Barker. Simon back in fourth. And Rudolph not far behind in fifth. Andrew Lau coming through that final sector with about 15 minutes left to go. And a 5.25 second lead. He is definitely watching Adam Barker's times and the gap closely. This second through fifth are all within about 3.5 seconds. One bobble could change that entire lineup. Andrew Lau's lead holds at 5 1/4. Barker has a bit of a gap on Yannick at the moment. Simon Zierk has slipped back to 4th, and Rudolph is closing in rapidly on Simon. Remember, Rudolph won race 1 by quite a bit. He checked out. He has a ton of speed here. He is less than 3.5 seconds out of 2nd place. He likely could still get there. Adam Barker is inching closer to the leader. Now about 4.9 seconds back. Andrew Lau is just trying to wind down the clock. There was a point in time where NSS put a lap limit on the race. If that lap limit was in place, we would hit it in two laps. Rudolph Gunther has caught the back bumper of Simon Zierk. Does he have something for him? Adam is still inching closer to the leader. The BMW, not necessarily the fastest car, but definitely one of, if not the most stable car out there. Simon still trying to reel Yannick Gunther back in and hold Rudolph off at the same time. Adam still trying to close that gap as Rudolph, whoa, he overshoots the hairpin. And Simon retakes 4th for the moment. Not the first time we have seen that move this morning. Now, hairpin, definitely one of the best places to set up a pass, but it is so easy to overshoot that turn. At the line, the gap between first and second about 4.7 seconds. Meanwhile, Yannick is cranking it up. He is closing in on Adam. Just about 0.6 of a second back. Meanwhile, Rudolph trying to regain ground on Simon. Max way back in 6th. Mike Doling in 7th. Roman Berg currently in 8th. Waleed in 9th. Wessel has moved up into 10th. Wessel doing everything he can this morning to lose as little points as possible. This will be only Andrew Lau's 3rd week he has been here this season. He won race 2 at Spa. He won race 2 at Catalunya. And he may pull off the win in race 2 at Hockenheim. Adam Barker has lost some ground on the leader. He's holding about 4.25 seconds back. Yannick still there within striking distance. Meanwhile, Rudolph still trying to reel Simon back in. Roman Berg having a good run here this morning, currently in 8th. And the points leader coming in today may not be the points leader when we leave. Wessel currently in 10th. Second in points, Rudolph Gunther is, holds on to it. Rudolph currently in 5th, and third in points, Adam Barker in 2nd. Hey, good morning, Mr. Animal. Thank you for the raid. How was your stream, buddy? Yannick still there within striking distance, and Rudolph has caught back up to Simon. Well, that's great. Glad to hear it. Rudolph shoots to the outside on Simon as they head toward the infield. Simon gets the run in. Rudolph now back to the outside. Rudolph cuts it, coming out of Sachs to the inside, side by side. Whoa, bobbling as they come through. But Simon reclaims the position out of the final turn. Andrew Lau's lead is shrinking, but not quickly enough. Adam Barker now 3.8 seconds back. Waleed Feza currently in ninth, had a bit of an off track a moment ago, but he's got it gathered up. Adam in second has shaken Yannick off just a bit. And Rudolph Gunther is taken fourth, but Simon's on the attack now. It's going to be close. I don't think Andrew will see the white flag this time. Oh, he did get the white flag. One more time around for Andrew Lau. He overshoots turn one. Adam Barker in second, 2.8 seconds back. This is going to be a close fight. Wessel Stevens has picked up a black flag. And the points leader has had a rough morning. Andrew Lau heading into the final sector with a 2.5 second lead over Barker. Andrew Lau heads into Sachs one last time. And here he comes. Through the penultimate turn, Andrew Lau from pole to victory lane. Lau will win race 2 at Hockenheim. Adam Barker comes home in second. Yannick Gunther in third. And of course, the appropriate celebration. Adam's body panel's obviously just dancing in the dirt. Let's talk to our top three, starting with Yannick. Yannick, one heck of a run this morning and another podium finish.
Yeah, thank you, Doug. Yeah, I'm very happy my undercut worked on Simon. I thought it might work on Adam as well, but it didn't, and Adam is just a bit quicker than me.
Well, you were still very, very quick and running everybody down at one point or another.
Yeah, it was at some point I was a bit faster than Adam, then he was faster again. It was a good back and forth, but yeah, I never got close enough to actually try to overtake him.
Well, man, a great job. Another podium. Congratulations.
Thank you, Doug.
Yannick comes home in third. Adam Barker coming home in second. Adam, you come home in second in a race that may redefine this championship.
Yeah, crazy race. Really interesting to start with. Lots of action in the first 2 laps, and just a little mistake from at the start, and I had to build back from that. And Simon was just really hard to get past. He was I took like nearly half a lap side by side just to get around him, and just gave Andrew that little gap that I couldn't bring back down.
Oh man, it was one heck of a race, and like I said, this race likely to shake the points up in a big way. Halfway through the season, you got to be thinking about it.
Yeah, definitely. A really strong race, and a lot of the people around me in the points not their best result. So it's definitely going to shake things up. But let's see what we can do going into the back half.
Well, congratulations, another great finish.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And finally, our winner, Andrew Lau. Andrew, I was doing some looking here a minute ago, and I realized you show up every other week and win race 2. It's just the way it's fallen so far this season. So will we see you back in 2 weeks in Victory Lane at, where are we going to be at? Sebring?
If that's the way to win, then probably maybe, yeah.
Well, statistically, that's the way for you to win, but man, heck of a race today. A heck of a win from pole to Victory Lane after race 1, which was a little bit bumpy for you.
Yeah, just the hot track temps were not helping today. Everyone was sliding everywhere, and I think I just slid into turn 1, and it disrupted the car so bad, like it just sent me right into the wall. But we're all trying to keep it together for race 2. I know everyone behind me was also struggling for tire grip, but yeah, just managed to keep the gap to Adam.
Well, man, great job, and especially great job holding Adam off. I know you had to be worried in those final laps. He was starting to charge.
No, not really. I knew he was also struggling with tires. I think one of his tires was out of alignment too. We were just both sliding. Had a particularly slow lap on the white flag, but I had a big enough gap that I wasn't too concerned.
Well, man, a great job. Always good to see you on track. Congratulations.
Thanks, Luke.
Wow, Andrew Lau pulls off a win again in race 2. He's going to have to keep an eye on those stats. It works out weirdly. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. Don't forget tonight at 9:30 Eastern, SMRX Series playoffs continue. And tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, the final race of Jones BS Racing. Likely to be a heck of a night. Definitely going to be a sad one. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope y'all had as much fun as we did. Have a great night, y'all.